But before we start here, let's get back in time for a couple of days and start where the journey begins. Oh, hey guys. You have no idea what I went through the last couple of days. Holy crap, man. Gotta tell you the story. But first of all, thank you very much for tuning in. Welcome to my new poker vlog. That's the pilot. I hope from a lot of episodes which will follow. First of all, my name is Gotti. Welcome. Thank you very much that you tuned in. Thank you very much for interesting in poker and everything around it. Let me tell you what happened, just in a short form, yeah? Everything was booked, I was on standby flight, and everything was packed. I had all the visa, everything. I did the COVID test just 3 days before flight, everything. I was completely prepared, yeah? I did everything. Then I got to the airport, blah, blah, blah. So my visa wasn't enough. So I was denied for the flight on Monday. So I got an additional visa. I applied for the S-Star. Yeah, I got it in 3 hours. Then on Monday, there was no flight for me anymore to US. So I had to book the flight on Tuesday morning, 7 a.m. No problem. Get there in the morning. What happened? My COVID test was, of course, not valid anymore because you need 72 hours before. And we are talking about like 10, 12 hours maximum. No, they called the CDC. CDC said no. Then I asked, can I talk to the CDC to explain my situation, blah, blah. No, of course not. Not allowed, not allowed. Yeah, fuck that. Then, of course, second time I got denied. I have to rebook my flight again. I have to get another COVID test. Yeah, no problem. Got my test then on the Wednesday, everything fine. Then I got everything. I got my new visa. I got the new COVID test. I got everything. Then I took the flight. This time everything worked. They let me through. Everything ran smoothly. The flight was in time, perfect. I flight over Seattle, so I got to Seattle. Had a connection flight, everything no problem, but I was on standby. Then and then I saw my name on the standby list. There was like 2 hours, 2.5 hours before the flight, and then like I was sitting there, and then like my name was like dropping down like step by step, like 11th, 12th, 13th, because every time like someone else got popped in, and then just in front of me. So I ended up on, I think, 21 or something. And we already had 130 booked, so I could come by myself already that I totally won't let me on this freaking flight. And at one point she said, okay, no, everybody's booked. You have to wait that someone is a no-show. That's the only chance I can get the flight. Wow. I wait and I wait. There was still one girl, she had a ticket already. She was with her friends. And she was the one who held the last ticket. And she should board, but she was waiting for another friend, one of these three, whatever. And no joke, like 5 minutes before the flight or something, or maybe less. And she said, we don't wait anymore, so give him the ticket. So I only got the flight because this girl said, don't mind, just give him the ticket. I'll fly tomorrow, whatever. So this is the only reason, like, I got the flight from her. So it's so freaking freaky to get the flight. So I got the ticket, I went on the plane, everybody was sit, the flight was completely full, like COVID style, like really completely full, there was no seat empty. And I got the last seat between two, let's say big mamas. Holy crap, man, what a flight. From then everything went fine, so I got my luggage right away. I went to the taxi, get here to the hotel. Everything fine, worked out finally, but this is just like a small recap. God damn it, man, I'm so happy. Let's get started. But first, check some pictures and videos from the first days of Las Vegas. Let's go. Okay, the first hand I would like to go over with is quite early in the tournament. We play 300, 600 at this moment. Effective stack was 25k at this moment. I had around 50-ish something. The under the gun player +1, he limps, small blind, fills up the blinds, and waking up in a big blind with pocket sixes. There's like, both plays are good, you can call, see the flop and navigate from there, or because we are quite deep in the tournament, in the stacks, I like to raise it up. So I raise it up to 2.7k. I'm happy with both. If both player folds and I collect the pot, I'm happy with it. Or if I can isolate one of the limpers and then play heads up post flop. So the under the gun +1 player decided to call, small blind folds, and we go heads up to the flop, which comes 9-8-7 with 2 spades. This is a pretty good flop for the pre-limper and caller, but there's actually my first mistake, I would say. I decided to down bet to 2.5k into like roughly 6.6k pot. If I want to raise there, if I want a continuation bet, there should be like a bigger raise around 50-60%. So to charge the draws right away. I still have like, even if I get raised, I still have like lots of equity, open ender. I block the straight as well, and can navigate. But the best play I would say at this point was for checking. And then to see what the under the gun player is doing. But anyway, I opened up with a continuation bet, and the limp caller decided to raise me like a min raise to 5.1k. This player, what I saw in his hands before we played on the table, he wasn't against me, but he chased like 2 draws, ace high, 2 times until the river, and he punted off a lot of chips. I think he won one of them, and the other one he lost. So my first interpretation was he's on a draw, and maybe it was an ace high draw. So, and because it was just a min raise, so alone from the pot odds, it's worth it. So I just called, and we go to the turn. And the turn comes 4 of diamonds. I check, and the under the gun player almost instantly shoves all in for his remaining 17.5, 18,000. So around about a pot size shove. And then that was actually my second mistake, I would say now. I got like 3-1, like roughly 33, 35 pot odds. So I need like an equity around it. And even if I take like, let's say 8 clear outs, like my open ender, like every 5, every 10, give me a straight. And even if I take the 6s, like 2 remaining 6s in my outs, so I have 10 outs, I still only got roughly 22% equity. So even this is not enough to call. From a more exploitative way of what I saw in this the hands before, and like all the other players I was playing with, they're like really punting it off. They're punting off the chips, and so my read was like he's on a massive draw, like ace 10 suited, like in peak, queen 10 suited, so open ender plus nut flush draw, something like this. So still have some equity against him. This was my read. That's why I called, and the river brings another 9, so no flush there. But the undergun player turns over 5-6 suited, so he flopped a straight, even the bottom side of it. Yeah, I paid him off, and I could have played this hand way better. So the next hand is just some orbits later in the same blind level. I open it up to 1.5k from the low jack with ace jack off, and I get re-raised from the high jack to 3k. Everybody fought around, got back to me, and I decided to call and to see the flop. Usually when the smaller stakes tournament players, they're like min raising, but you can see a lot, in my opinion. It's always like a pretty good holding, like middle to the top pair. And usually what I see, like even ace king, ace queens, they like to call it instead of raising it. So I'm expecting here like a middle to strong pair. And yeah, just wanted to see the flop. The min raise, of course, I call. And we go to the flop, which comes king 10-5 with 2 diamonds. And I check it over to him. And he put in 3.5k into the 7.5k pot. There's like, I had the ace of diamonds in my hand, so there's like several ways I could play that. So I could re-raise it because I have like a lot of equity, backdoor nut flush draw plus nut straight draw, and also have like a lot of kings and tens in my hand. But of course he has all the sets, ace king of course, and so I decided at this point just to call and then to navigate the turn and river. The turn comes the jack of hearts, which gives me a middle pair plus top kicker and some showdown value now. And I check it over to him, and he checks back. So I'm still losing against all his top holdings, aces, kings, queens, ace king, even ace queen makes a straight now. So he could make a trap, or like he's like a marginal made hands now, maybe like queens, or like a pocket pairs, smaller pocket pairs like 9s or 8s, and just wanted to see where it was on the flop. and just want to see a cheap river. So I'm good with that. So we go down to the river, and the river comes 4 of diamonds, which completes the front door flush draw. And I was thinking for a few seconds to lead out and make like a almost pot-sized bet around like 12k, 14k into him, to put, even when he have aces, it's a hard call for him. Queens, maybe like a king queen hand suited will be roughly hard call for him. But since I didn't have a lot of information about this player, and I had the jack for some showdown value, I decided to check, and he checks back and he shows aces. So I lose this pot as well. After this hand, like I was thinking about if I could play it differently, like on the flop or on the river, but like on the turn the jack gives me some showdown value, and some portion of the time I will win in the showdown. So yeah, it went like this. Yeah, after that I was pretty short for the next roughly 2 blind levels, and I got busted, I think, like 2 blind levels later. I jammed it all in. I think I had like 10 or 11 big blinds left. I jammed it all in, got called from a better hand, and I busted as 59th player from 132 entrants. But I jumped into the cash game 1-3 right away, and here are some hands from the cash game. I jumped into the cash game 1-3, buy in for the max $300, and here we get some way better hands, some more way better action where we can battle and raise and okay, not this one. Okay, next one. No worries. No, it's also not that good. Okay, on the button where we can do it's a raise. Okay, let it go. Never mind. Oh, ace. 6. I see the 6 a lot. I'm in the big blind. Why not? I can fill it up. Okay, we got a raise. 2 callers. 3 call. Yeah, better not. Okay, next hand. Let's get the action started. I'm in small blind with ace 2. Yeah, why not? I fill it up. I check. Let's see what happened. And oh, over pot size bet. Okay, then maybe next hand. Oh, nice one. Finally, we get a hand we can play some poker with and battle after flop. So the low jack raises to $12. High jack decided to call, and I'm on the button. I could raise here, but I decided to just call, go to the flop. The flop is roughly $39 at this moment. I'm in position of 2 players, so let's see what the flop brings. And the flop comes 8-7-3 rainbow. Hijack and low jack, different way. Low jack and hijack decided to check, and I'm in decision. I want to play $26 at this point, a little bit more than 50% pot size, but right now I'm most probably the best hand, but there's a lot of hands which can be worse for me on turn and river, so I'm happy to take the pot right away, and that's what I did. Sometime later, a funny hand happened. I wake up under the gun with pocket aces. I raise it up to $10. Fourth round to the button, who decided to jam in for roughly $60. Small blind just cold calls, and I reshove my aces into the small blind, and he instant call and shows the other aces. At least we share the money from the button. The next more interesting hand I didn't film, unfortunately. But I have 10-7 in diamonds. I raise it up $10 from under gun position. Under the gun +1, cut off, and button decided to call. So we go 4 ways to the flop, which comes king, queen, 9 with 2 diamonds. King and queen in diamonds. So that gives me the third nut flush draw plus a gut shot straight draw. I have the range advantage, but not the nut advantage. But still a good hand, which I like to see the turn and river with. But I decided to start semi-bluffing the hand, so to thin out the field and go just heads up to the turn and river. So I decided to play $25 into a $44 pot, like roughly 55-60%. and the cutoff decided to call. Both other players fold. The turn brings King of Hearts, which is actually not a good card, because now every 2-pair holdings, which I would have a lot of equity against, could turn into a full house already, so I would be drawing that already. And if like the cutoff decided to just flat call on the flop with ace queen, king jack, queen 10, or maybe like a weaker 9 like 9 10 9 jack, even suited, is it for me harder to represent the king now, and or if I would have the king to get a second street of value? So I decided to check, and because if I put in another raise and get re-raised, for me it's almost impossible to call there. I decided to check and hope to get to the river and decide what to do from there. That's what happened. The cutoff decided to check as well, so we go on to the river. And the river brings the 4 of clubs, which is the total brick, and I decided to bluff. I put $60 into a $94 pot, which is definitely the wrong play. If I like to bluff here, I have to go bigger, like 100 to 150% of the pot size, just to be absolutely polarized and represent any king, better queen, aces, and some semi bluffs, of course. But with this pot size bet, the cutoff has quite an easy call, which he does, and yeah, he shows queen 10 and wins the $210 pot. And yeah, and one more hand I would like to go over with you guys is just a little bit later in the night. I have ace king suited from the under the gun position. I open it up like $10. I got a call from the button and both blinds, so we go on to the flop, which comes ace 10 5 rainbow, where small blind and big blind checks over to me. I put continuation bet of $22 into $40 pot, button calls, and both blinds fold onto the turn, which brings another 5. So I decided to put another bet of $35, keep it more smaller size, to keep all his weaker aces and 10 holdings in the game. So I put $35 into like roughly $84 pot, and he decided to call. And it comes 9 on the river, which brings the board to absolutely rainbow. So my plan looked like to work. We have a $154 pot, so I decided to keep it kind of small. I bet roughly 30%, like $55, and would like to get a call from almost all holdings. But the button decided to, after a few seconds of thinking, he decided to jam all in for his remaining $150. There's not too much to do. I have to call 95 for roughly $350 pot, so I almost instantly call, and he shows 5-6. He make trips. Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes, especially in small stake games. What should I say? So that's it for the first day of poker for me. Yeah, I ended up with a small profit. I lost the tournament for $100, but made $142 in the cash game, so a baby small profit. I take it, why not, for the first day, at least no minus at the start. I had some rough first days to come here, but now everything's fine, poker is running, and I have a lot of more content to come for the next days. I just have to edit them. And yeah, if you like it, just give me a like, put the subscription button on, and yeah. Thank you very much for tuning in, and hope to see you soon again. Bye.